it's Angie. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, thanks for joining. You're going to learn that I love to share with others that are just like me. I'm 43 years old. I have 2 adult children. I work full-time and I am learning to age. Today, the question is, would I let my teenager take Accutane? Probably most everybody that I know of has heard of Accutane, and it's pretty controversial. So what is Accutane? It is a brand name for Isotretenoin, which is a prescription strength retinoid or vitamin A in pill form. I'm reading my notes here. The brand name Accutane was actually discontinued in 2009 by the manufacturer. So the medication is Isotretenoin, the brand is Accutane, and that brand has been discontinued in the US since 2009. It's used to treat severe nodular acne or cystic acne, and it reduces the amount of oil that's released in your oil glands in your skin, or the amount of sebum. The length of treatment is usually about 4 to 6 months, and the side effects can be pretty rough. The most common side effect is severe dry skin, but some of the other side effects include extreme joint and muscle pain, trouble with eyesight, and liver damage. These are rare, but they could occur. It has been linked to inflammatory bowel disease and depression. However, studies have not been able to prove that it causes these conditions, but they still put it on the packaging as a risk. Isotretenoin causes miscarriages and severe birth defects if taken while pregnant, and that has led to some pretty hefty regulations. You actually have to jump through some hoops to get it. You have to do monthly blood tests, and you have to become a part of an iPledge program. The iPledge program that you have to sign up for is meant to prevent pregnancy. It confirms that you understand all of the risks that are associated with taking it. You promise to keep your monthly appointments with your doctor, and you agree not to share the medication with anybody else or give blood during the time that you're taking it. And each month when you go in to see your dermatologist, he or she has to submit their portion of the iPledge part, and then the pharmacy will receive the information, and then they can issue the drug to you to take. So you might be thinking, why would anyone put themselves through this? Well, I want to tell you a story about my sister. I have one sister. Her name is Stacy. She is 6 years older than me. And in November of 1998, she had my niece, Emmy. During her pregnancy, she developed severe cystic acne on her face, on her chest, on her back. And I can honestly say that it was crippling for her. Not only was the cystic acne visible to everyone that saw her, it caused some pretty bad scarring, and it really did a lot of damage to her self-esteem that I believe she still deals with today, even though she doesn't have the acne anymore. I got married in December of 1998, 2 months after my niece Emmy was born, and my only sister, who is my best friend, I wanted her to be my maid of honor in my wedding, and she didn't want to be. She didn't want to get up and stand in front of people that would see her and see the acne that she was dealing with. I finally begged and pleaded and convinced her to stand up next to me on the most important day of my life as my sister and my best friend. And she agreed to it as long as she could wear a different dress than the bridesmaids, because the dress that I had picked out for them had a low back, and she wanted a dress that covered her back completely so people couldn't see that. And of course I agreed to it, and she was my maid of honor. But she tried everything after having my niece. Of course she couldn't take anything while she was pregnant, but after she had my niece, she tried an antibiotic, she tried creams, she tried everything, but her acne was so severe that her dermatologist said the only thing that was going to help her was Accutane at that point. And so she got on it, and I can't even remember how many cycles she was on, but it cleared everything up, and she no longer has acne. She still has some of the scarring, and she goes in and has certain things done from an esthetician to help her with that scarring. But that, not only did it scar her on the outside, it scarred her on the inside, and she really needed that drug to help her get rid of the acne, and in turn it helped her become my sister again. But of course my sister is an adult, and she was an adult when she was on it. So why would you put your own kid through something like being on isotretenoin that has some pretty severe side effects? Well, in my 20 years as an educator, part of it, I was a high school teacher. And in high school, kids tend to have acne, some more severe than others. And I was actually a witness to seeing kids that had pretty severe acne, and they were trying everything to help it, creams, lotions, cleansers, treatments, everything, and it wasn't working. It really can be debilitating to a kid, not only in the way that they see themselves, but in a way that others see them, or the way they think that others see them. Kids can be mean, and kids can make fun of other people if they're different or look different or going through some things. And I know that happened, and I've seen it, I've witnessed it. 85% of teenagers have some form of acne, and about $2 million a year is spent in America with dermatologists on trying to find a cure for acne. So even though the side effects are pretty severe, there are some cases where the side effects are not as great as the result from isotretenoin. So I have two sons. My oldest son, Court, is 20, and my youngest son, Ren, is 19. And both of them took isotretenoin. So why would I put my own kids through this? Well, Court started having severe acne at about the age of 16. In high school, he was in athletics, playing football at the time I can remember, and he came to me worried about his acne. We got him on a good skincare regimen. We, tried everything we could at home. It wasn't working. I took him to a dermatologist in town, and she actually started doing some facials and some peels on him. And when that wasn't helping much and his acne was just getting worse, she put him on an antibiotic, which was the tetracycline. And he took that for about 3 months, and it still was not getting any better. And so the dermatologist said the next step would be isotretenoin. I was really a little reluctant to put him on a drug so severe. Of course, I had heard all of the information about it causing depression and being linked to incidents of suicide, as I'm sure many of you have heard. But Court came to me and he said, "Mom, I just want it to be over. I want to take it." And I said, "Okay, we will try it. But if any of these side effects get too bad, we're taking you off of it." So Court was on one cycle of the isotretinoin, which I think was about 3 months. And during that time, of course, he experienced the severe dryness. Your face becomes like the desert. And so we really had to keep his skin hydrated. His poor lips, oh my goodness, his lips were peeling, they were swollen, they were red. He always kept a tube of Aquaphor with him and just was constantly applying that to his lips. But Court actually experienced some pretty severe joint pain. And he was playing football at the time, like I said, and his knees and his elbows would just hurt. And he'd tell me this, and I would say, "Let's get off of it." And he'd say, "No, it's not much longer until I'm done with this, and I'll be through with it." Of course, his skin, when he first started taking the isotretinoin, it got a lot worse before it got better. So that kind of was surprising and kind of discouraging to him. But we went to the doctor every month. The doctor would tell him, "Just hang in there. That's your skin purging everything, and it will clear up." And as a matter of fact, it did clear up. And then my youngest son, Ren, he did not have acne for a long time. It wasn't until he was about 17 that he started experiencing acne, and he didn't have severe like cystic acne. He just had pimples and blackheads all over his face. And once again, I got him on a great skincare routine. One of my dearest friends, Katie, she is actually a nurse practitioner, and she owns and operates a medical spa alongside some board certified doctors. And I go to her spa all the time, and I took my youngest son with me, Ren, and so Katie made sure that he was on a really good skincare, medical grade skincare regimen. We would go in and get facials monthly, and he would also get some peels done. And actually his esthetician called me and him in one day, and she said, "I really think you need to go see a dermatologist because what I'm doing for you is not working." He actually had little oil pockets all underneath his skin, and he had also tried the antibiotic. It didn't do anything for him. And with the facials and the peels, those were not helping the little oil pockets underneath his skin that you could actually see. If some of them got better, others would pop up in other places. And his blackheads around his nose and his cheek were really bad, and he was getting just a lot of hormonal acne on his forehead and on his chin. And she actually said, "I used to work for a dermatologist. I really think you need to be on isotretinoin." And so we went to see the dermatologist, and he agreed. He knew because Katie had already sent him the information about everything that we had tried for him, that it was time to go on the medication. And he had a little bit of a different experience than Court did. His hardest thing to deal with was the monthly blood tests that he had to get, where they had to draw blood. He has a severe phobia of needles, and that just really, scared him to death to have to get blood drawn once a month. And once again, with Ren, just like I did with Court, I never pushed this on them. I had them come to me and say, Mom, I hate this. I hate the way I look. We've got to do something about this. And that was the case with Ren, like I said, at about age 17, when we really decided. And when I told him, you're going to have to get your blood drawn with a needle once a month. And for a while he was like, no, I'm just going to keep getting the facials. I don't want to do that. I said, okay, that's fine with me. But then one day he came to me and said, I really want to get on it. I can't handle this anymore. But he never experienced the joint pain that Court experienced. His main deal was the dryness and the lips, you know, having to keep, I'm trying to remember, the dermatologist actually gave him a lip balm that he used, and I cannot remember the name of it. You can get it off Amazon. I'll look it up and link it down below. So he had the dryness of the skin, the desert skin and the lips, but he went through one cycle of 3 months, and of course his skin purged, but it really didn't get a lot better. And so we would go once a month, and the dermatologist, he'd say, just give it some time and let's see how he does. And after that 3rd month, he agreed that he really needed to go on one more cycle. And I was like, oh gosh, I really did not want him to, but he wanted to do it. You know, at this point we were really thinking, this isn't going to work for him. You know, not all medications work for everybody. And we were really thinking that this wasn't going to work for him. But we agreed to try one more cycle, and he was on it probably 2 more months after that. He didn't go a full 3 months afterwards. He went 2 more months, and his skin was pretty clear. It wasn't completely clear when we stopped it, but it was pretty clear. And we explained to the doctor, and he could visibly see that his skin wasn't completely cleared up, but he said, I want to stop it, and then in a couple of months we'll come back and evaluate. So by this time it was the end of school, and during the summer he was off of it for a couple of months, and then in August, right before he left to go to college, he went in to see the dermatologist, and the dermatologist said, nope, your skin looks great, you don't have to go back on it again. And so Isotretenoin, both of my boys took it, and it worked for both of them. So thinking about this, would I recommend to you for your teen to take this medication? First of all, I would say that it really needs to be the decision of your child, and you really need to try and exhaust everything first before you get on a medication like this. And when I say that, I mean go see an esthetician, get facials, get those pores unclogged and cleaned out. Try the tetracycline antibiotic first and see if that works for you. They wouldn't prescribe it if it didn't work for some people. Do peels. Have a great skincare regimen, because a lot of times those things right there can eliminate the acne to where it isn't so bad. But when your kid comes to you upset, crying, they're being made fun of at school by other kids, and they just want to feel and look normal again, I would say this is a great medication to help with cystic acne, because it helped my sister and it helped my 2 sons. Looking back on it, even though the side effects were difficult for both of my kids in different ways, so the question is, if I had to do it all over again, would I? If I could see my kid smile again and see their eyes bright again and see them have a better self-confidence and be happier with everything around them and in their lives, I would do it in a heartbeat. Make sure you consult a doctor. Start with a med spa, see a great esthetician, and then consult with the doctor and see if it's right for you, because it is a scary drug and it does not work for everybody. And you want to be careful, and you certainly don't want to do any damage to your children. I don't think that that's the reason people put them on isotretinoin. But if all of those things, I had to experience all of those things and then the good come out of it, I would do it again in a heartbeat. Thanks guys for joining. I hope you learned something. If so, comment down below. Let me know your experience with isotretinoin and how it worked for you. Like I said, it hasn't worked for everybody, and I just want this to be a community where we learn from each other. And I would love it if we could get some conversations going in the comments. If you like this type of video, give it a thumbs up and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you'll be notified every time I put up a video. I will see you guys next time. Bye.